Punctuality is a very important quality that everybody should strive for, and here's why. So punctuality is a very important life skill because it can positively affect so many different areas of your life. And one major reason is because people judge a book by its cover, as is just how our minds are wired to do so. For example, 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7 says that when people judge, they look at the outward appearance of the person. Obviously, this is not the best way to evaluate someone's character, but unfortunately, that's just innate human nature. It's ingrained in our DNA. Now, with this in mind, this is exactly why first impressions matter so much. When you strive to be a punctual person at work, at school, or at church, people make a mental picture of you in their minds, even though they may not know you that well. People begin to see you as someone who's disciplined, who's mature, who's diligent, who's respectful of other people's times, who's responsible with their own times, and someone who's trustworthy. And this can lead you to have a good reputation among so many people. This can open so many new doors for you, and it can help you shine and find favor in the eyes of so many people. For instance, this can earn you a good reputation at work as someone who's respectful, someone who's responsible, someone who's trustworthy, someone who's good at managing their time, someone who's diligent, hardworking. And it could be part of the reason that you get a promotion or that you're delegating more responsibility in the workplace. With all of this in mind, here's why tardiness is bad. So we have many instances throughout scripture showing us why and how tardiness is a bad thing. First of all, James chapter 4 verse 17 says that if anyone then knows a good they ought to do, but they don't do it, then it is sin for them. And what does this mean? Well, it means that sin is not just about willfully doing what's wrong, but it also means willfully refusing to do what is right when you have the opportunity to do what is right. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31 also says that whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. And lastly, let's look at what Titus chapter 2 verses 7 to 8 says. It says, "In everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about us." Here, Paul is exhorting us to live righteously so as not to give non-believers or opponents of us any valid excuse to criticize or to speak badly about us. And the fundamental point of Paul's message here is to be an example both in what you do and also in what you say. So don't just be a hearer, but also a doer. So allow me to put all these verses into context for you when it comes to punctuality. Start times for events, for work, for school, or for church exist because there are schedules that need to be followed. Moreover, there needs to be sufficient time so that a certain number of events can occur within a certain period, and so that a certain goal, outcome, or task can be achieved within the set period. Therefore, being punctual is a good thing because it demonstrates respect for the rules, for other people's times. It sets a good example, and it also allows for full participation of activities or tasks. But when you're constantly tardy, you're in a way committing sin because you're failing to do what is good when you have the chance to do so. And the good in this instance is respecting and following the rules. Moreover, you're being disrespectful with other people's time, which can cause them to get angry with you and cause them to sin. And you're also showing that this thing is a lack of priority for you since you can't be bothered to show up on time. Since people also judge a book by its cover, what kind of mental picture do you think they're painting in their head whenever you're constantly tardy? They're going to see you as someone who's unprepared, lazy, disrespectful, not trustworthy, irresponsible, insubordinate. And this may not necessarily be the case, but unfortunately, this is how us as humans think. And especially if you're a Christian and you're constantly tardy, what do you think people are going to begin to think in their minds? This guy that always arrives late and doesn't exactly respect our time, he calls himself a Christian? Or this guy claims to be Christian, but he's rude and disrespectful to us here at work? Being constantly tardy paints a bad picture of Christianity to non-believers. And your tardiness can cause them to speak bad or criticize Christianity. And when that happens, you're not exactly being a good ambassador of Christianity and of the gospel. Not only that, but being constantly tardy at work or at school can get you in a lot of trouble as well. For instance, you could be reprimanded, you could have things written on your file permanently, and in some more extreme instances, you could be suspended or it could cause you to get fired from your job. In essence, a great principle to live by in your life is constantly asking yourself and meditating, what would Jesus do? In this context then, do you think that Jesus would be showing up late to school, for work, or for church? If the answer is no, and it's something that you know Jesus wouldn't be doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it in your life. So be punctual so that you're doing the right thing, so you can earn a good reputation among others, and so that you give good testimony and you're a good ambassador of Christ to non-believers. God bless, and see you at the top.